So thank you, Rita, and kumusta, everyone. So firstly, thank you for taking time out of your weekend to attend this webinar. It's very much appreciated, and we hope that all are safe and healthy during these challenging times. My name is Richard Wright, and I'm the Managing Director for Manhattan Associates, based in Singapore, looking after the Southeast Asia region. Today, I am very excited to officially announce the partnership between Manhattan Associates Singapore and Arrow 88 Business Solutions based in Philippines. We've actually been partners with Arrow 88 since the end of 2019, and we had been planning on an in-country event to make this announcement. However, it was unfortunately put on hold due to this COVID situation, so it's really great to be able to finally have this event today. Now, you may be asking, what is a geo partner in Manhattan terms? Well, what this means is Arrow 88 will basically be the extension of Manhattan Associates in the Philippines, offering in-country supply chain consulting services, starting with pre-sales, solutioning, and pretty much the full gambit of implementation and support. Also including other typical customer side activities such as training, standard operating procedures, and so on. And we at Manhattan see this partnership as a very strategic decision to engage with a local organization versus trying to support the Philippines market and our customer base directly, which we've actually been doing for many years prior. And also with Arrow 88's common vision and focus in business improvement and optimization, we realize that there will be very strong synergies between our respective organizations. So we are looking forward to a very successful partnership with Arrow 88 moving forward. I would also like to give just a quick pre-introduction to Avanti Speakeasy, whom are also presenting in this webinar. This was another strategic move for Manhattan and Southeast Asia, for us to work with a global company such as Avanti and to integrate to their various solutions, leading to ease and speed of deployment, cost effectiveness, flexibility, plus simplified processes and training during the deployment cycle. But let me leave it at that, and Carlton from Avanti will take you through more detail during his session later on. I think it's safe to say that this crisis we are currently facing is like none other we've faced before, with respect to the extent it has disrupted the fulfillment balance that many companies had historically achieved. And much of that disruption has directly affected the backbone of global supply chains and commerce in ways that were truly unexpected, from labor shortages to very dynamic volume fluctuations. I mean, does everyone here remember what happened with toilet paper back in March? Who would have thought? Also challenges in maintaining equipment and other external factors such as lockdowns, import restrictions, particularly with those restrictions placed on China, the major supplier for many products distributed into Southeast Asia and so on. And we can see that the pandemic has forced many of our customers and other organizations to reassess, evolve, and consider alternate strategies to working past these new implications on the distribution center. The topic that I'd like to focus on today is around online fulfillment. So if we take the Philippines, for example, whom are well known to be prolific users of the internet, with already around 76 million active users of social media, seeing a further spike in usage like most other countries in the world in their online activity. It's interesting to also see that the numbers are seeing an important gap closing with a higher increase in the new Gen X transactions over Gen C. This in turn is seeing suppliers having to reconsider what product they are selling and take into account a wider range which is more suitable to the various generations. What we're also experiencing across Southeast Asia are consumers starting to show preference to support local brands and suppliers in order to better support the community. This in turn is also creating a further need for diversification and reducing reliance on the usual big players from China and the US. So as our region is running through such a significant spike in online transactions, Are retailers and suppliers ready to keep up? Well, recent studies have actually shown pretty high levels of dissatisfaction in 2020 with online experiences through out of stocks, incorrect product, and rising returns. So maybe not fully ready. So what are some of the factors or tools which can support retailers and suppliers to perform at higher levels? Well, firstly, the need for purpose-built IT solutions and processes is critical. From a systems perspective, as you can see from this slide, there are a multitude of inputs, outputs, and obvious challenges which companies can face as they embark into their own omni-channel journey. Many questions will come up. Now, how best can I get a consolidated and enterprise level view of my inventory? How can I see what's in my warehouse or all of my warehouses? What's in my individual stores or all of my stores? And also, what am I expecting to be delivered from my suppliers so that I can make informed decisions regarding my available to commerce? Very important factor. What can I actually promise on my website and ensure maximum fill rate along with high levels of customer satisfaction? I think everyone here knows that the world of e-com is fickle. In Singapore, for example, I know I can either go to Q10, search for an item. If they don't have it, I can go to Lazada, or I can compare between the two, or I can just go into Google, enter the product that I want, select search, and receive a list of all suppliers who provide the product I'm after, plus comparable pricing. So maintaining loyalty is tough. And if you're regularly missing deliveries, having out of stocks, consumers will just look elsewhere and may not visit your site again if they can find a more reliable alternative. And with all of these new challenges in the supply chain, the resultant move to online for many more consumers and the need for companies to fast track their omni-channel roadmaps during these times, well, it's been tough. We know it and we hear about it. So how are Manhattan able to help our customers optimize and deploy their omni-channel strategies? Well, firstly, by way of introduction of our order management solution. Okay, firstly, I don't plan to run through all of the capabilities of our OMS or the other solutions which we will be discussing as we run through these product slides, but just touch on some of the key rules and considerations important to optimizing the selection of where to source an item for an online order so as to make sure that we have availability and also, very importantly, to a business best possible margin. Now let's take an example of a consumer. They go into a store, they look for a particular item, say a glass light fitting they've seen advertised. They can't find it in stock. They go to the store associate who advises the customer, we don't have it available, but the customer really has a pressing need. They need it by the following day. So what do? Well, don't know about you, but I've experienced where the store associate will say, look, sorry, we don't have, there's another store up the road, try them. Or if you want next day delivery, you have to go online and place an order. And I don't know how frustrating that is to you. I know it is to me. But what if the store associate could log into a store device linked to the OMS, place an order, record the customer details if they don't already exist in the system, and set delivery preferences, whether it's pickup, whether it's delivery to home, and then let the OMS do the rest of the work. Now, the OMS may just simply look at where is the closest available inventory, which can be shipped from, and create that order. That's a very typical and simple rule that a reallocation may look at for a short pick or a customer who's unable to find product in the store. But that isn't really the way it always is. It's not always as simple. And there may be many other considerations which need to be taken into account, such as which stores and or facilities in this particular example can perform overnight delivery. So in the example we're running through, the selection process should be limited to 2 DCs only and or stores over 10,000 square feet because that particular supplier's business rules dictate they're the only types of locations which can support overnight deliveries. Another factor could be which facility, whether it's a store or a DC, can actually ship product which is deemed as fragile. In this case, the business decision at stores cannot. They don't have the necessary material and handling capability to ensure safe delivery of fragile items, and it must be done within the DC who do have the appropriate packaging and safety equipment. So as you can see, there are already building up multiple and important considerations which could impact a timely and safe home delivery if the correct systems are not in place to not just choose the optimal sourcing point, but a location that can actually fulfill the order. Now, don't just stop there. On top of this, there are also other factors which can be considered, such as we don't want to choose from stores that we know typically can't fulfill or have a low fulfillment rate for online orders. It's important to satisfy this customer's request. I only want to choose from high-performing locations who have a high fulfillment rate. And I may also want to look at stores that may be running this item as a promotion versus stores who aren't running it as a promotion. And then finally, once I have several rules in place and several selection criteria already performing an optimal level of selection, the next step would then be, let's choose the next closest location out of those available stores and facilities in order to reduce transportation. So again, you can see there are actually a multitude of business rules which should be built into selection determination to optimize the delivery and ensure a great customer experience, which is what it's all about. And these types of rules are quite simply configuration within our order management solution. Now, I mentioned before about the store associate logging in to a device to place an order. This is another area where Manhattan are helping our customers to maintain store inventory accuracy and introduce systematic flows to handle the more complex distribution requirements within the stores themselves as volumes are increasing. Another set of our solutions covers store inventory and store fulfillment. What these introduce is a very intuitive set of flows accessible from common devices such as tablets, mobile phones, and/or PCs to basically run what you could term a simple DC operation within the store. The ability to receive normal items, whether it be owned stock or consignment, returns from customers, picking and shipping, inventory management dashboards, and so on. And recently, we introduced a capability around one of the new norms we're experiencing with curbside pickup. What this allows for is a customer to receive an alert when their order is ready to pick up. Customer drives to the store, sends a message when they are in the car park, the location where they are parked, and the store associate will be tasked to take the order out to the customer and complete the pickup through the store device. And what all of these processes help to achieve are real-time visibility, end-to-end traceability, and system-directed work. It also enables more accurate and real-time updates to the OMS in order to calculate available to promise by store location, thus taking away many of the headaches and challenges associated with the mostly current and manual operations which stores are managing at the moment, or relying maybe on their point of sale system to do more than it probably should be. And what can this lead to? Well, lost stock, short picks, manual errors, and this is unfortunately increasing based on what we hear from frustrated customers that the stores are becoming a more frequent stocking point versus the DC. I will say that we've been experiencing a very high demand for solutions in America for these very reasons, and hoping that we can see some level of adoption in South Asia in the near future. And now last, but obviously not least, the backbone and foundation of any distribution model is the warehouse and the warehouse management system, or WMS, which supports the operations. I will say, just from a Manhattan associates point of view in Southeast Asia, we're actually seeing an unprecedented level of demand at the moment by companies looking for systems to help them move from traditional distribution into supporting the new norm of online fulfillment from their DCs. Now, you may say picking from a warehouse is picking from a warehouse, but moving from order profiles of say 100 lines each to say 100 orders of one order line each, it's a pretty significant change. And a WMS is absolutely critical in helping to streamline a new fulfillment operation, whether it be how to best handle single picks is the best approach. For example, a particular operation sees a multi-order picking process, or maybe batch picking followed by a put-to-wall process, or is it maybe pick to tote and pack from tote? As you can see, there are many options available, and one or more of these options may be suitable for your operations. One of the other very key factors around all of these decisions is how do we optimize these new workflows and minimize the impact on labor? How do we reduce travel distance, which is one of the main time wasters, as we know, in any operator's daily activities? And how do we also ensure the most efficient placement of product through optimized slotting? This factor alone is becoming an increasing challenge as operations move into fulfillment, with product levels becoming more difficult to predict. For example, how much should I reserve in stock for online orders versus store orders? And how do I physically manage stock for online orders, which I may need to pick in eaches, versus orders for stores, which typically for my operation need to be picked in 4 cases, and the list goes on. And this is certainly an area which both Arrow 88 and Manhattan are more than happy to discuss in more detail after or outside of this session. So what are some of the things that we learned from this situation over the past several months? Well, for starters, it's absolutely critical to maintain agility in order to work past the dire implications of this pandemic. Having plans, say B and C, is going to ensure your enterprise can remain nimble when shifting gears. This is also clearly helpful beyond the pandemic as well, as we understand there are extreme weather patterns, geopolitical events, and other unexpected situations that have also exposed our vulnerabilities. It is also critically important to have a best-of-breed set of business systems, such as an OMS, a WMS, store solutions, that can provide you the flexibility to quickly adapt to these changing circumstances. And your workforce also plays a crucial role in ensuring you're able to roll out the right strategies, as situations dictate in a manner that empowers your team members and even draws the type of buy-in that is imperative to manage change management. And in the end, we believe that aligning people, processes, and technology continues to be the best proactive measures to any disruption, including this pandemic. Okay, so that's it for me. Thank you again for your time and attention today. We at Manhattan Associates wish everyone best of health, and please stay safe. Thank you. Now back over to you, Rita.